this is a form. This is a form, and you can design your form however you want. This is my design. You can design your form to look anyhow you want, and you just want people to be able to add data to your database. Okay, so the last time we designed a query, if you remember, today I want to continue and design a form. So let me launch my Microsoft Access, and let me zoom in a little. I'm not going to click on a blank database because I already have a database. So I'll go and select the database we created the last time. It's called schoolDB.accdb. I click on it and it will start. So this is what we did the last time. We have our queries here. We wrote a query to fetch out the female students. Do you remember? We also wrote a query to fetch out the male students. And what you are seeing right now is exactly how queries work and what queries are. Queries are commands that fetches information from our database. Queries are commands that fetches specific information from our database. And so if you need some information out of your database, remember your database may have all the information about your business or your project, but you do not need every information every time. And so whatever information is useful to you at the moment or at any particular point in time, you write a query to fetch just that information. So this is how it is. In Microsoft Access, we learn about queries in simple ways. So queries are designed as objects and they can be saved. But in advanced database systems, you write queries every minute. And sometimes you use SQL code to write queries. In Access, we have SQL. I think I should give you a quick introduction to SQL. So over here, we have SQL here. SQL stands for what? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. So if you learn this language, let me tell you, this language is very valuable. It's just like Java. Because if you know SQL, you will use it in every database system. Even in Access, you can use your SQL. In MySQL, you use your SQL. In SQL Server, you use your SQL. In Oracle, you use your SQL. SQL is a language for database, for all relational database systems. So once you learn it, it's a valuable asset to you. Let me click on it, and the query we prepare, that is it here. Let me clear this code and write my own query. Should I write a query? Okay, so if you know SQL, you can write any query. So let's say I want a query to fetch the first name, last name, and telephone number of all the male students. Simple. So I'll come here and type. I'm writing in a code. If you want to fetch, you say select. Select means it should fetch. What do you want to fetch? I can type select star from then the table name students. Star means every field. So if you use star, it will pick all the fields for you, but I don't want to see all the fields, so I want to indicate the fields I want to see. So select first name, comma, last name, comma, phone number from students where gender is equal to, because there's a field called gender, where gender has record male. So wherever gender has a record called male, fetch the first name, last name, and phone number. Let me run it, and voila, it has obeyed me. This is what I have. Do you understand? So if you understand this language SQL, you can query with a code and it will fetch whatever you want. And SQL is so powerful, so advanced, you can get any information you want from a database. So that is what I've gotten, and this is right. Let me go back to my SQL and tell SQL to add the gender field to it, because I want to see that I have all my male students. So I will go back to SQL view and change after telephone. Let me add comma gender. I also want to see gender. Let me run this. So when I come, you see that the gender is showing, right? So this is programming, this is coding in SQL. SQL is a language for databases. So that is it. So if you learn coding, you can do all of this. All right, let's move on. Today I want to create a form. Creating a form is simple. So after I create a form, you see what forms are and how they work. So I will go to create. I'll go to create. Remember when we're creating tables, we came to create and we went to tables. When we're creating queries, we went to queries. Now tables, we selected table design to create our table, if you remember. And our queries, we went to query design. You can use query wizard to create a query. You can use this to create a table. When it comes to forms, you can use most of these commands here to create forms. For example, this particular one, immediately you click on it, a form will be created instantly. Immediately you click on it, a form will be created instantly. So if you want access to create your form for you, just click here and the form will be created. But I don't want access to create my form for me. Okay, let's try that and we'll see. To do that, select the table you want the form to be created from. I want the form to be created from this table called students. Then I click here and the form is created. So the form that they will create for me, it looks so simple. And it's a form. I can use it if I want. Now remember that forms also have views. When you come here, we have form view, layout view, and design view. Right now we are in the layout view. You can go to the design view, which is my favorite view when it comes to forms. And also we have the form view is a view where we run the form or we use the form. In Access, we have a view where the object is used, and we have a view where the object is created. When it comes to tables, you design your table in design view, you use your table in data sheet view. When it comes to queries, you create your queries in design view, you use your queries in data sheet view. If you want to go to SQL view, you can go to SQL view to write code to run new queries. When it comes to forms, we design our form in design view, we modify our forms in layout view, and we use our form in form view. So when you click on form view, your form will appear as a real form that you can use. So from here, I can click next to move to the next student. Next. You can see that the information is changing. I don't know if you can see the information changing, but when I click next, here we have Akins. When I click next, we have Samuel. When I click previous, we have Bright Jim. So this is a simple form, but I want my form to be a little nice, so let me design my own form. So this is simple. This is a basic form, but I want to design my own form, and I want to teach you how to design forms. So I'll go to form design. Instead of clicking form that we clicked on before, I'll come to form design. So form design will give you a blank sheet or blank design page for you to design your form. So this is where we are going to spend some time to decorate and design our form. Are you with me? When it comes to designing forms, we have several sections of your design page. This section is called the details, and the details is where I will put my command buttons. As a matter of fact, what we are going to do will give you a little experience in designing software, especially if you know how to write code in Visual Basic. We'll be using the components in Visual Basic to design a form. So when you are building a software, you design the interface of the software. So we are doing something like that here. we are designing the interface of our form, and we'll be using some of the components we use when we are building real software applications. So let me open this details view a little so that I'll have more space to put my details. But the form I want to create a header section and a detail section. So to create my header section, I will move up here to header and footer, and let me click on title. And as soon as I click on title, they have given me my header, and I have a form here with a title. This title, I want to give it a name. Let me just call it students database. So I'm going to create a database here with a title student database. If I want to add a logo, I can. If I don't need a logo, I'll clear the logo box here. And this students database, I'm going to polish it a little for it to look good. Now over here, we are going to spend some small time to design a form for you to understand what forms really are. So let me design this part a little bit, and I'll be introducing you to what we call the property sheet in Microsoft Access. So whatever you select, you need to design it or control it from the property sheet. So for example, I want to control the font size. What do you see here? And what do you see here? I don't want 18, I want something smaller. Let me try 12. Enter. I'll come and check how it looks. 12, let me make it 10. I can come and type 10. I think it's fine. Now I want to make it bold, so I'll look for font weight. This is font weight. Okay, so remember, we are not in Microsoft Word, so this is a different program, and this program is more like a software development program. And right now we are creating a form for a database. So this is how it is when you are creating a form for a database. So I want to adjust the look and feel. The font itself, I want to change the font to Arial Black. So I'll come here and look for font name. Remember, we have font names, right? Who can give me the names of three fonts? Just three fonts. Who can try? Three fonts. Italic is not a font name. Yes? Elephant. Please choose fonts that people know, okay? Don't mention strange fonts. What is elephant? Give us fonts that people know. You are saying elephant. Times New Roman is 1. Old English text is 1. Okay, I'm going to use Arial Black, so I'll check here for Arial Black. So let me scroll through, and I see Arial and Arial Black here. So if this space is not enough, you open it up a little. Arial Black, let me see Arial Black. I think Arial Black looks good. It's bold enough for me. I like it. Then I want to change the color of that text to, let me check which color will work. So now when it comes to color, we have several colors. We have back color, we have border color, we have forecolor. Forecolor is what we need. So we can click here or click here to choose a forecolor. The forecolor is the color of the text itself. Let me try this color here and see. I think I will choose something a little bit darker than this. Now this is our color code. So in programming, we write colors in codes like this. Do you see this? This is nice. This is in a coding system called hexadecimal. If you've done binary, no binary. There's another number system called octal. It's in base 8. Then we have decimal, base 10. We have hexadecimal, base 16. This is hexadecimal. So this is RGB. The first two letters are for the R attribute, second two for the G, and the last two for the B. So in programming, this is how we give our colors. And if you give the hexadecimal code, you get a specific color. So this is more advanced and detailed when you are working with colors and choosing color. So let me choose, I think I want this or that. Let me choose this one. Okay, good, I'm okay. The next thing to do is that I want to bring in my photo here. So let me click add existing field, show all tables, students. So I clicked on add existing field, show all tables, and students. I'm going to bring this photo field on top of my work. I'll actually put it here, and the photo is showing with its label. I don't want the label, so I'll click on it and delete the label and just send the photo placeholder here. And this photo placeholder, I'll actually use it to insert photos on my form. I want to design a simple form that when we are browsing through, at least the faces of the students will be showing. Are you with me? Yes, this is not Microsoft Word. This is not CorelDRAW. This is database, Access database. Just that right now we are in a design view. Okay, let me go ahead and let me add some borders to the photo. So I'll come here and I will select border style. Border style is solid. I think I want solid. Border with hairline. Hairline is too small. I want the width to be like 4 points. Let me see. 4 points is too much. Let me try 3 pt. 3 points. And I want the back color of the photo placeholder, back color, to be a little gray like this. Okay, so let me leave it like this. Okay, it's too dark. Let me give it a little light. Okay, good. Please, are you here? Pardon? Pardon? I'm moving fast. Did you say I'm moving fast?
Yes.
Don't worry, I'm recording it for you. So you will take time and do it, but I'm still taking you through. If you have a question, you can ask me. Because I have a lot to do. If I don't move a little fast, I can't finish. Okay, so this photo, I didn't just draw anything. I picked the photo placeholder itself from the photo field. So this is a field that is actually holding the photos. You understand when I put the field for the other fields, and when they are changing, you understand. So I'll explain this to you. All right, let's move on. I want to write the first names of the students here very bold, and I want the names to be changing as we change we'll go through our data. So let me come here to controls. Do you see this? This is called what? Excellent. Now controls, I can pick a label, I can pick a text box. When you are designing a software, you will create your user interface. So what I'm doing is like I'm creating the user interface for a software. Okay, so I want the text box, but this text box, it comes with a label. The label is here in front of my photo. Let me clear it, and I'm going to use this. Now this, I want to have my first name and my last name on this. Very soon you understand what I mean. So let me come here under name. Let me give it a name. Let me call it txt in small letter, txt name. So usually when you bring in controls like this, give them names so that later you can know how to control them. I call it txt name because it is a text box. Later I'm going to be using command boxes and other things. You'll see how they are. This is a button. When I take a button, you see how I'll name it. Okay, so this particular text box, I want to link it to one of the fields, and actually I'll do that in control source. Let me pick one of the fields here and show you. Let me pick one of the fields. Don't worry. Let me come here. I will explain it better this way. I'm bringing the first name. Let me undo. Please watch what I'm doing. I went to add existing field and it listed all the fields we created. These are the fields in our table. We are using the students table. So I'm going to drag the first name and bring it here. And this first name here, I'll place it somewhere that we can see. I think this is okay. And when we come to the properties, we can see that the control source is first name. Okay, so here I have my first name. Let me just do a little introduction to what we are doing, and you see something. This particular field, let me select it. I'm selecting this field. I'll come here and change the properties. I don't want any back color. So back color, I don't want any back color. I'll choose. I want it. I don't want any back color. So under back color, okay, let me go to back style. Back style should be transparent. This is what I need. Then the back style is gone, is transparent. Let me give it a font size, a big one, just to show you. Very soon when you see what I'm designing, you'll actually be very happy for me. So at least let me leave it this way, and let me run this and we'll see what we have. We are not going to see much. Let me widen this a little. We are not going to see much, but when we run this, we'll run a form in form view. When you go to form view, then the form will be running. Now you see one name here called what? Victus. When I click next, what do you see? Where's Hansen? He's not in class. When I click next, you see that the names are changing. By the time I finish, when we click next, it's going to be changing the photos and all the details. We are going to see the full details of the person, and we can even search for someone and every detail about the person will come. For example, when you are watching CIA movies and they are looking for someone, they type the name and the photo and everything about the person will show. That's what I'm designing. So let me go back and put some of the pictures of these students here. For example, Victus. Let me put a picture of Victus. Do I have a picture of Victus? Do I have a picture of Victus? That's Victus. Okay. Let me edit the face a little bit so that it will look like a passport picture for the. I just want to pick the. I want to pick this part. Please, are you seeing this? I'm going to cut that part and use it for what we are doing. It looks better, right? Let me save it. At least let me use it this way. So In graphic design too, we'll be learning how to edit photos to make them look good before you use them. So this is a quick one. Okay, let me minimize this, and over here I'm going to, I double click on this, I'm clicking add. I'm going to load your picture. Onto the form. Remember, we are designing a database. All right, this may be new to you, but this is how it works. So let me go back to my design view and add something to, I realize that the width of this is too much. Let me close it up a little. And this time I want my first name and last name to show in this same text box. To do that, and what I'm doing, you are going to use this video to design the same thing. I'll click here, and over here, okay, so I went to the control source. Here, and instead of just pulling the first name, I want to click over here and add some few commands to show me the full name. So when I click on this button here, it will open the expression builder for me, and in the expression builder I will type equal to first name and space and last name. So if you can see what I'm doing, I'm saying it should pick up first name and it should create a space and bring the last name. Let me click OK and see if it will work. Let me run it again in form view, and okay, I have an error there. Let me see, first name dash and last name. Okay, so I know why. Okay, so before I run this, let me bring in the last name field onto the form. So I'll come here, I'll put the last name field onto the form because it's not recognizing the last name field yet. So I will put the last name field onto the form and I will run it and we'll see. Let's run it again. Let's run it and see. So I'm seeing the full name. Can you see the full name? So when I move to the next student, the next student is going to show. We don't have the picture of that student, so it won't show us. We can load a picture of that student as well, and as we move through, we are going to see every student and their information. All right, let me go ahead and design my form. Remember, forms can be gotten automatically and can also be designed. When you design your own form, you determine how it looks like, and it's great when you design your own form. So I'm designing my own form, and this form, I see some border around the name, first name and last name. I don't want it. Let me click on the property sheet and remove that. This may be new to you, but it's something you should learn. So what we are doing, I'll let you follow the video and design it. So border style, I don't want any border around it, so I'll change it to transparent. And I want the name to be bolder, so I'll go to font weight. I'll change it from normal to, let's try bold, to make it bolder. And also, apart from the full name, I want to see some information here. After the full name, what else do I want to see? Let me go ahead and add some of the fields here. So add existing fields. First name, let me bring last name. Okay, I think I should use a student ID rather over here. So the student ID should come here. Let me decorate that over here. Let me zoom in a little because student ID is important. So I'm going to move this here. This is a label. Remember, the label just has information about what the field is about. So here you see student ID, student ID. If you know what is happening, this is a text box that has the field itself. This is just a label talking about this. When we run the form, the actual student ID will show here, but this will still have student ID written on it, just to tell us that what we are seeing is the student ID. So let me put a student ID here, and this student ID, I'm going to decorate it a little bit. I'll go to the property sheet. By the time we finish, you'll love what we are doing. So just take it easy. When we finish, you'll see that, wow, this is nice. And when you are designing it, you will just follow what I'm doing. I'm sure that will be easier for you. So I'm going to change the back style from normal to transparent. Student ID color should be more visible. Let me change the font weight. Okay, font weight, let me change it to bold. Let me see, heavy. Let me try the font color. I want it to be prominent. So let me choose a color that will make it stand out. Let's try red and see. If red doesn't work, we'll change it. Okay, so I see student ID and the ID is here. Let me change the font size. Let me change the font size to 18. 18 is too much. 16. Okay, 16. Okay, let's run this and see how it will look. I'm testing my ID if it will be fine. I go to form view and I have my form. With the student ID, when we click next, we see the next student with the ID. I think the student ID is not a bad idea, so let's keep it, but I see some borders around it. I'm going to remove the borders. When we finish this form, you'll love it, don't worry. Access, it actually prepares you for a whole lot of things. You see, when you are building the interface of a software, you'll be doing what I'm doing. So just go through to get some experience. You are dealing with database and a front-end program. Access is really nice. All right, so with what I'm doing, once you get a clue, you see that it's easy. It's new to you, that's why it appears that way. But once you get you pick up the clue, you see that everything is fine. All right, so I'm removing the border. I'll use the property sheet here. Property sheet. Border style, I'll change border style to transparent. And I think from my preview, I want the name to be much bolder. So I'm going to increase the font size of the name. from 24 to 48. Let me try 48. 48. Let's see if 48 will work. If 48 doesn't work, if it's too much, I'll reduce it, but let's see, maybe it's going to work, so who knows. Okay, let me run this and see. It's too big. I'll reduce the font size, so at least you know where to change font size. Good. This is a new program, and with what I'm doing, I'm actually using the interface and the tools of Visual Basic. We use Visual Basic to create software, real software program that when you finish, you can compile and create an executable file for people to install and use on their computers. This is exactly the interface for developing software in Visual Basic. So I want you to enjoy what I'm doing, because it's going to, you may not get it in one day. You see, I told you that success takes time. So just practice. When you practice, you see that, oh, I can do this. If you can do it, you see that it makes it easier. Now what I'm doing now, I'm just testing. I'm testing how it looks. So when I change something, I'll go and check. If it's not okay, I'll come and tweak it again, and I think it's fine now. I'm okay with the top. Maybe I should change the entire back color of the top. Should I? Let me change it for you to see how colors are changed. So I'll click on the background, and I will come to the property sheet and look for back color. Let me choose a different background. Let me choose something like this and see, is it too much? Let me reduce it a little. Let's run this and see. It's too light too, right? Oh, it's okay. Okay, now I want to put some border here. I want to create a border. So let me come to the shapes here and just pick this one, which is just a common rectangle, and draw something here to the end. I'm drawing a rectangle. This rectangle, I will give it a back color, thick back color like this. I don't want borders around it, so border style should be transparent, and I want it to hit the wall here. So let's try it and see if it makes it look better. Remember, I'm just testing. Does it make it look better? I think it's fine. It looks great on the laptop. So let me put the other fields here, and you see that it will look good. And when I start putting the buttons, you will start enjoying what I'm doing. Frida, very soon you'll enjoy it, okay? Don't worry. When you make a mistake, you undo. Okay. I want to arrange these ones well. Make sure they are all in line. Sorry. When you make a mistake, you undo. Let me bring the other fields, and I'll introduce the command buttons, and you'll enjoy what we are doing. Okay, so I'll go to add existing fields, and I'll bring in gender. I'll bring in date of birth. I'll bring in nationality. I'll bring in postal address. I'll bring in residential address. Our phone number and email. Okay, so like Frida said, let me put phone number at the top. Let me put phone number at the top so that at least we will get the phone number of any students we browse. And this thing may look daunting, but with a little practice you get a hang of it very soon. Do not fear. Alright, so let me add some properties here. The phone number, let me go to the property sheet, remove the back color. I want the back style to be transparent. I want the border style to be solid. I want the font to be like this, which is font 16. I want the phone number to be 16. Font size should be 16. Font weight should be bold. Font weight should be bold. Listen, when you are creating mobile apps, you do what I'm doing. You see? So this is an introduction to intermediate computing. At least this is a pure programming or software development experience that we are having. Okay, so let me change the phone number. Should I give it color? Give it a color. Let me change the color. Fall color should be no, I need something uniform like what we already have. Let me arrange what we have here. Gender. Let me arrange the gender. Date of birth. Nationality. Let me widen it a little bit. You know what? Let me put all of them on the same line here. Date of birth. Remember, if you don't want to design your own form, Access can design the form for you with just one click. You saw what I did before. So I want to design my own form, and I want to teach you how to design a form. That's why I'm going through this. So apart from residential address, let me see what we have next. Email. So I'll bring email. Why have I brought everything onto one line? Anyway, Now let me run this. After I run it, I'm going to add the controls to it. Okay, so this is the form. Isn't this looking nice? It's nice. So I'm coming to add some command buttons, and you'll see how it is. And this is a software we are building. So if a company is going to use it, after we develop the interface, they'll be using it forever, and we'll just be upgrading it. So this is a nice experience, and I'm happy to do this in front of you, my lovely students, just for you to see. I want to remove the borders from this. I'll go to property sheet, border style, transparent. It's not every time that things should be done in secret, and by the time you come, it's already done. You don't know how it was done. At least you should see how we do things. All right, so now let me add some buttons, and you'll see something. So I'm going to the controls, and over here I'm going to pick my first button. And anytime you use a program and you get a button to click on, is because the software developers created those buttons. I'm going to create a button here. Let me put it somewhere here. And this button, I'm going to choose a command for the button. Access makes it easy. You don't have to write a code for the command. In other programming languages, when you create a button, you go to the code view and write a code to tell the button what to do when someone clicks on it. With Access, when you create a command button, they'll give you this wizard for you to choose what you want to happen. So under categories, I'll click on record navigation, and I'll go to next record. I'll select go to next record. This means when I click on it, it should change the record to the next record in the database. Next, I can use text, and I can type what I want to show on the button, or I can use a picture, and I can select the picture I want to see. I think the picture is better, so I want to use this picture right here for next. So I'll click next. It's a command button, so I'm going to give it a name, btn next. Just to let me know it's a button, I'll come here and click finito, finish. Finito. Finito is Italian. Finito. Okay, I click here. I've created another button to go to the previous record. Record navigation, go to previous record. Next, I'll use this picture. Next, remember I'm just going next. It's simple. btn previous. That's the name I'm giving to it because it is a button. When I was creating text boxes, I called it txt. This is a button, so I'm calling it btn. So I'll click finish. So we're almost done. Let me increase the size of the buttons so that they'll be more visible when we are clicking on them. And you actually see what we have created. Okay, so I have two buttons here. Let me run the form in form view, and you can see that we have a form, and these buttons, let's see if they will work. We just created them. Watch this. When I click, I'm supposed to see a new student, a new record, new record, new record. You see? Now what I created here makes navigation easier. So when we click next, we can actually see who is next. Please, can you see this? And if we had their pictures, you'll really enjoy what we are seeing. It's just one picture we have. When we finish, we'll load some more pictures. And you see that when you click next, the next person will show. When you click next, the next person will show. I want to create one more button here. and write. I want to create a button that when someone clicks on it, the person can register a new student and put in new information for a new student. So I'm going to create that now. I'll do all of that in the design view. Remember this design view, this is where we do all those things. Design view. In the form view, you see it nice, you like it. In the design view, that's where you design everything. It may not look appealing to you, but this is the main place we do designing. Okay, so I'll click another button and I'll draw a big button here, and this button, I want it to bring in a new record, so I'll change the record operation to add new record and select next. So this wizard, we actually use it to tell the function of the command or what the command should do. I'll click on text and I'll write a text for the button. So instead of using a picture, I'll say register new student. So I should register new student or add new student. Register new student. Okay, next. I'll call this btn register and I will click finish. And we have a big button here. Let me increase the size again. Let me move these two to the far left and bring this one here. Increase the font weight. Register new students. Let me bring these two back a little bit more, and or let me bring this one down here like this. Let it run through from here to here, and let these two also be here like this. Okay, I want to create a button here that we'll use to save changes, because when you see a form, you can actually put in data through a form. So I want to write a button or create a button. I want to create a button that we can use to save. When we add some changes, we can click on it to save. So let me create another button here. And this button, let me change the command. I'll say, let me check operation, save record. Good. Save record. Please, are you seeing what I'm doing? You go to the category, you choose the type of command you want to use, then the actual action. So I want this one to save record. So I'll click on next. I want to type save. I'll just call it save. Next, btn save, and then finish. Okay, so that one is here. Let me make it bigger and bolder. Font weight should be bold. Font size should be bigger. Let me change it to 20. And the caption, okay, save is okay. Let me change the caption here to capital save. Let's see if it will look fine. No, it's not looking better. This is okay. Let me reduce the size a little to 18 and change the color, for color to, I think I'll change the button itself, the color of the button itself, to green. So back color should be a green color, and the text color should be 4 color. 4 color should be white. And this green back color, let me make it a little bit darker. Let me run this and see. So I have this here. When I click next, I see my next student. Next. If I want to register a new student, let me register a new student. Watch this. Let me pick a picture I will use for the new student. I'm going to register a student here, an American student. Let me choose this male, and let me drop his picture among the pictures we are using for this work. Secure system. Let me drop his picture here, and let's say this student is John Doe. I click on register new student, so I get a blank form. You see the form is blank, so I come here. The name, first name is John, last name is Doe, other name is Smith, gender is male. You see this gender, instead of male like this, I'll create a drop down that we can select male or female. Okay, then date of birth, let me use a calendar here to choose any date of birth. Let me just choose any date of birth here. Let me just choose nationality. We call it nationality. John Doe is from the United States, so we say USA. Postal address is PO Box HP 123 Ho. Residential address, he lives at Banque adjacent what? King Graphics. It's okay. Email is johndoe@gmail.com. And let me add his picture. I'll double click on this and select add, and I will choose his picture and click OK. So so I'm supposed to enter the student ID, and I'll double click on this picture placeholder here. Okay, so I didn't create a space for adding the student ID and phone number. I will do that and we'll continue. So when I'm done, I click on save, and the record is saved. So now when we go through our students, we'll see that all our students are here, and John Doe is also one of the students now. So when you come here, you see John Doe is part of the students. Okay, so let me go and add some changes. I want to make the background of this white. Back color should be white, and I can see my residential address should come in a little, and I need a place for the phone number and student ID. I'll put it down here. Add fields, I'm almost done. So phone number or student ID should come here. I'll put this under this, or let me put it here like this. All right, so I'm creating this space for us to be able to add the student ID here, and I'll create one more space. Okay, so I'll bring my phone number field here again, so that we can enter the phone number, or Let me drag this. Now I want to show you something here. These two, when you bring in a field, it comes with a label. When you try moving one of them, let me try moving the label, you see that it moves the field as well. If I want to move only the field, I will use a handle here to move it. And if I use that, you see that it doesn't move the label. Alright, so when I want to move this alone, I'll use that handle. When I want to move any of them alone, you use that handle. Okay, this is fine for me. And I will decorate the phone number. After this, I'm going to add a small button for delete, so that if there's any student we want to remove from the database, we'll be able to remove. Would that be a good idea for us to be able to delete from our database? In a database, you should be able to delete. So let me run this again. Now save. Hey, I've not saved. Can you imagine? Let me save. So to save, I'll come here and click on save. And this is a form, so I need to give it a name. I'll call it students form. And I'll click OK to save. So when you check the object, you see that one more object has been added. What do you see? It's under what? What you created before was under, and the first one. So it's left with one more object before we will be done with our entire Access development. Okay, let me run this for us to see. I go to form view and we have this. So we get a full view here. You will see that some of the students didn't have some information. For example, like nationality, Hansen doesn't have nationality. So we can enter it through the forms. So he's a Ghanaian. So now you will see that the forms are also there for you to enter data. What is the purpose of the form? To let you view data and also enter data. So here, postal address. Hansen doesn't have postal address, so I'll put it here. P.O. Box HP 119. Ho. Residential address New Housing. Ho. Email Hansen Kweku @gmail.com. Okay, then I'll click on save. You see what we've done? It has saved it. When we move through the data, wherever we have a different student's records, that's what will show. When we get to Hansen, you see that his details are now saved. So this is a form. Have you seen this? This is a picture of a form. Let me check if John Doe is still there. John Doe doesn't have a student ID. John Doe is still here. Let me give him a student ID. We'll give him AHIS 1999. And we'll give him a phone number 0244 444 444. Save. Alright, John Doe has gotten some information. So this over here is teaching you what forms are and how they work. Okay, this date of birth, I want it to align to the left. So let me go back to the design view, click on date of birth, and go back to the property sheet. Then I'll look for align. With the property sheet, whatever you want, you should be able to find. So we want to check the text align. So let's see if there's something called text align. You see text align? Let's change it to left. You see this? Now let's see if the date of birth will now show at the left. It's showing at the left. Bingo. You see that at first it was showing at the right. I don't know if some of you saw it. Okay, so we are almost done. I want to create a button here for delete, so that when we add a student and we want to remove later, we can remove. Okay, so with this form, Instead of going to tables to add more records in the tables, you can add more records from the form. So why do we use forms? We use forms to enter data into the table. We also use forms to edit data. You see, I can edit any record I see here. I can edit. And this one, you see, this form, it picks the records of one student. And I see just that student's information here. I can get access to it. I can also edit. It's not like the table that has a long list of everyone. This one is just one person. So whatever you want to do on this form, you do it for that one student. When you finish, you can save. We created our own save button. So this can tell you the uses of a form. We use forms to view data. We use forms to edit data. We use forms to add new data into the table, because when a database is designed, you don't actually want people to have access to the main table. You can just give a form to the user. If this form is given to a beginner, do you think the beginner can easily enter the data into the system? Pardon? Yes, this is better than giving a beginner a table. So it makes everything easy. Let me create one button here for delete, and I think we'll go with this. Next time we'll create our report. Okay, so I'll go back to the design view. Remember, I'm in the form view. I'm going to design view. I didn't talk about the layout view. I'll talk about the layout view for you to see. After I design my button. So let me pick another command button, put it down here, and call it, okay, let me give it a command. I want it to record operations. What should it do? Delete record. You see this? So the action you select is what will actually happen when they click on it. So the action you need to check through these categories. If you want it to open a form, you see, we can create a form and put buttons to other forms we have. For example, if you want to add a new student, we could have created a new form just for adding. So when you click on it, it will go and load that form. Or if you want to know the student's records, let's say examination records, we can create that form there with all the records of all the students and create a button on this form. When you click on it, it will go and open that form and show you the list of records for that particular student. Whatever you want to do, you find a command for it. So there are different commands here. Wow, you can even create a command to quit the entire program. All right, right now I just want to delete record. So next, should I use an icon? No, I'll use text and select okay, let me type something more friendly. Remove student. Remove students from database. Let me type something like that and click next. I'll call this btn remove, and I will come here and click finish, and I have a button here. This button, I'll bring it down. This whole thing has created space that I didn't tell it to create. And this student, remove students, I'm going to edit it a little bit. I'm going to change the back color to red and change the hover color. The hover means when you pass the mouse over it, what should you see? Hover color is here. I change the hover color to yellow. It's yellow, okay. Let me use orange, and I will change the font color to, which is a 4 color, change it to white, and I'll change font weight to bold and font size to 12. Okay, let me run this and see if it's okay. I think our remove button is too big, it's too big, it's too big. Removing is not something we want to encourage. Removing is not something we want to encourage, so let's not make it that prominent. I'm going to reduce the height. And change the back color to something a little bit darker than this. Okay, let me save and run my form in my form view. I'm going to teach you what the layout view is. Okay, so this is okay. If we add a new record and we don't like, we can delete with this button. You see the hover color I gave? When you put your mouse over it, it becomes orange. Do you remember what I said I selected? So we have actually designed this interface. We just did this. I've taught you how to load pictures. Let me see. I don't have Hanson's picture. Bright, do I have his picture? Maybe. Samuel Akins mode. Okay, I'm going to work on 3 pictures and load them, and after that we will close, so that when we are browsing you'll see how real it is. When we get to any student, you will see their records. This is a form. This is a form, and you can design your form however you want. This is my design. You can design your form to look anyhow you want, and you just want people to be able to add data to your database and also edit. So let me minimize this and find some pictures about. I just want 3 pictures to edit. Make the picture look better for the software or the database. All right, so let me look for Akins and Fafali, and when I get to their data, I'll double click on the picture placeholder, click on add, look for their pictures. Akins, once I load his picture, you see that it will show. So I'll double click on the picture, it will come in, I click OK, and voila, the picture is in the database for good. Let me look for the next person, add, Fafali, okay, so now when we go back, you see that Akins is there. Fafali's picture doesn't replace his picture. When I move forward, I see Fafali. When I move back to Victus, I still see Victus. So you see how this is working. There's a search box here. Let me search for mod. There's someone called mod, right? MAUD, enter. Is that mod? Good. So in that system, you can even search for someone and their details will show. This is a basic database program, and we have an interface to control the database program, and we just designed this interface ourselves right here, right now. So however we want our interface to look like, we can create it ourselves. We can design it ourselves. This is not a system you are going to be given to use. You can just create your own, how you want it to look, and Access allows you to do this. This is just a tip of the iceberg when it comes to databases. There are so many things we've not discussed. In our subsequent lessons, we will discuss deeper things in Microsoft Access. So the next lesson will be to create what we call reports and we'll just use report to fetch data and print. If I had opened this to you that this is a form that we use to browse our data and edit our data and delete data and add new data, you'll be more confused. But I didn't just show you something, I created it for you to see. So we all did this. So you know how we started, you know how we got this. Does it look nice?
Yes.
It looks professional. You see, when you have skills and you are creating something, whatever you create looks good. That is why I encourage students to learn more about graphic design, because it helps you to have some professional skills within yourself. So whatever you create, you see that it appears good. I'm just designing a database, but it looks like a serious program. All right, so this database, like I said, can be used in a large organization, can be used anywhere to help the company store its data, use its data. And what we have done is just a tip of the iceberg. There are so many things we can add and make it more complex. So this is where we will end our class today. Next time we will continue. And if you want to know more about databases, I'm sure I'll be treating SQL Server, MySQL, and other advanced database systems right here on this channel. So just subscribe and you get access to all my lessons. And you study, train yourself, and be successful. So thank you for joining Professor Fadams on this channel and learning with me. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.